Hello and welcome to IITW Radio. You're out on the porch with Travis and
Tammy.
Tammy. Hello, Tammy.
Hi.
You're looking good tonight.
Thank you very much. So are you?
Thing going on.
I
Tonight we have a good show lined up. Right off the bat, we have Doug Deforest. He sings a lot of patriotic music. We recognize our veterans. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, it's one of the many things I do, and I'm always honored when somebody pulls one of those out of the hopper and starts playing it. It's there's nothing better than our veterans, and that you hear people pull that out like it's like they wear it like a badge. And I really don't do that. I just think that, in all honesty, without our veterans, we couldn't be sitting here doing this show. I mean, there's so many things that the people who fought and died and fought and gave everything but their lives, for us to be able to have this freedom. And, that's what 4th of July is all about. And I'm just really honored that you play one of my songs that's about that.
Yeah, we feel honored to be able to play it. I mean, anytime you come up with stuff like that. You've been in the music industry for at least 5 decades, correct?
Yeah. I started when I was 11, and I don't mind saying, a lot of people are all worried about saying how old they are. I'm 56, and the funny thing is I went through most of my life producing records for other people. I had several number ones on the Texas music charts. I've had a number 4 record of the year in 2008 on R&R on other people, and when I hit my 50s, I thought, it's about time that I really started writing songs for me. And even though I wrote them for years for other people and produced them on other people, I really was a late bloomer to coming to the party to actually put my stuff out on me. I put one record out in 2000, but other than that, I'd never really done anything. And so I just kind of decided to start kicking it in the butt and getting with it in my 50s.
Good for you.
So you had 5 first-round Grammy nominations.
Yeah, how about that? That was cool. That was a trip. I woke up one morning and was eating my breakfast and going through my emails and found out that I had 5 first-round Grammy noms and on the album, and actually had a nomination for Best Song and see, what was it? Best Song was one of them. Oh, and Best New Artist, which is really cool because that's the big category where they put Lady Gaga and all those people. So just to be over there in that category with those kind of people, it was truly cool. I mean, it really was. It was something. And after all these years of like I said, working on other people's material and to have somebody recognize yours at that level in your 50s is like, wow, that's an honor.
That's usually something
I'm
you work on all your life. That's something usually most artists don't get, except when they worked on it all their life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
I said that's something most artists, they work all their life and then wind up getting that after 15, 20 years in the industry. They wind up getting that, at the end of their career instead of you're just basically starting your career.
Yeah, I'm actually planning this thing into my 70s. I'm lucky enough that I've even though I have pool hair right now, I'm lucky enough that I've kept my hair and I've kept my sense of humor and my drive, and I'm not running out of songs to write about, and so I'm not really worried about. I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm just trying to get my music heard. And stations like yours, man. I mean, for you guys to play our stuff, it's invaluable. I mean, it's invaluable to those of us who really, what we have on our mind is not trying to make it. That's not the goal. The goal is for someone to hear you. And I think a lot of these kids, they miss that little thing. They want to be somebody so bad that they forget that they need to be heard first. And somebody needs to understand their music. And it means a lot more to me than grabbing the best pop country thing I can find that somebody else wrote and having a bunch of toys and bells and whistles. It's more important to me to sing the stuff that I write and that actually has meaning. And if it doesn't go as far, that's great. That's not my focus. My focus is having good people hear good music. That's the focus.
You also got nominated in the country field for best vocal nominee and in best vocal performance and best new single and best new CD.
when you read it back to me, I'm like so humbled. It's like, it's crazy, but I did. And it just goes to show people that I hope that there are folks out there in their 50s who thought it was over that can see what I'm doing and realize that it's just started, really, if you want it to. I mean, it's I have three grandchildren. I have two children and three grandchildren, and I was talking to Colin Ray about it the other day because I've been friends with him for years, and we did a show together, and at the Arkansas Country Music Awards, and we were talking about the grandkids and stuff, and saying, it's so funny. Now he made it, and now he's on what we call the backside of the career where he's making money. Because a lot of times those guys, when they make it, they aren't making that much money. They wait to the end of their career to really mop up, and once the record deals are over and all that stuff, that's when the money starts coming. And he was laughing because he and I are about the same age. He's maybe a year and a half older than me, and we were laughing about how the 50s are the new 20s. It's like you can get out and do it.
They
I'm the same age as you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same age as you. Where it can't be like Tammy and be younger.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
But you also got an award by the governor in 2016, correct?
Yeah, I got. Let me see. In 2016, I got what is it now? You have to tell me again.
You got an award by the governor.
Oh yeah. In 2016, I did, and by the governor of Kentucky, I was made a Kentucky colonel, which was kind of cool for my charity work, which is that's kind of an awesome honorary deal. My buddy, I had a buddy of mine, Eric Lewis, that put me up for that, and the governor of Kentucky made that happen. Oh, good. Well, we have a little noise here. Let's move over. And there we go.
Yeah, you're on vacation, correct?
Yeah, I'm glamping. I just found out there's a word for what I'm doing. It's called glamping, which means that we're camping in something with air conditioning. So I hear that's called glamping. I didn't know that.
That's the nice way to do it.
Yeah, I'm not hip enough. Well, believe me, there's no tent for Dougie. I've stayed in enough bad motels that there better be a little bit of air conditioning. I'm telling you right now.
He sounds like you, Tammy.
I know, right? I don't go anywhere without air.
Oh my gosh, Tammy, I'm telling you, you guys are down in like Louisiana and Florida and stuff, and you know how the humidity gets. Well, this time of year we got it just as bad as you guys do. I mean, it's the humidity everywhere.
It
and
is.
So yeah.
I always joke with people and tell them I spend a lot of money to go live like I'm homeless for a week.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm camping.
I walked up to the camper site today, and I'm seeing all these towels and everybody's swimming suits, and it's hanging everywhere. It looks like the Beverly Hillbillies just came to town. It's a really nice camper, but we've got crap everywhere. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I used to burn half the stuff I didn't want to take back. I can't say it too much because EPA will get all over me. DPE. Yeah, so you got the award for the governor. Now you've got 4 songs that I know that John J. Pershing veteran song. That's one of my favorite. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you said you had one that your new CD is dedicated to your sister, correct?
Well, actually, it's dedicated. The song "When You Have a Dream" was dedicated to my sister. It's funny. My sister is in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, and she was part of the first ever Missouri State volleyball championship team. And back whenever they won the championship, they didn't play in divisions. We were from a town of 900 people, and they had to play St. Louis and Kansas City. And I mean, it wasn't divisionalized. It was just everybody play everybody. And so a town of 900 people, those girls fought all the way to number 1. And I wrote "When You Have a Dream." I actually wrote it for a movie that I'm developing, and as a theme song about that event. And it's been kind of slow coming to me, the movie, but the song came right away. And it just kind of speaks to your heart about when you have a dream, to be all that you can be. You just kick it out there. You don't. If you give it wings, it'll fly. And that's what that song is all about. And it's interesting. I wanted to bring up one song that you guys have that's in your top 10 right now. and it's called Papa's Lullaby. I just saw that it was in your top 10. I was so honored. That's about my grandkids, and that song is so special. It's on the Carry On CD, the one we're going to be giving away 2 copies of tonight. Um, that song is all about the grandkids, and my first grandchild. In the first verse, it talks about the day Papa met you. He's actually an adopted grandchild, and so I met him at 2 years old. And so when the song kicks off, it's talking about him, and then his brother Adrian came along, and Adrian is of course my grandson, and then McKenna, or Mac as we call her. She's or Chunky Monkey, we like to call her. But she was still, when I wrote the song, she was still in her mother's womb, and so the third verse of that song is all about how it feels to know that you have somebody out there that you haven't met yet, and that within a few short months you're going to meet him. And I was writing the song when she wasn't here, so I had to write the third verse in absentia, and it's all about what I'm going to say to her when she comes out, what I'm, how it's going to be, and
That's so sweet.
and dreams come true, because it's all been the third verse turned out to be right. So, yay God, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tell us about the J. Now I've talked to you on the phone before, and we were talking about the John J. Pershing Veterans Home.
That song is
Take us from the beginning when you were with I believe it was your wife's grandfather that was in the home. He had served in World War II and World War I, Korean, and the Vietnam War.
Yeah, we got 2 people in this story, 2 principals. Now you've got 2 of them together. One of them is my Uncle Pete, who was Korea and Vietnam. That's correct. I'm glad you remembered that. And he's one focus in the song. The song is kind of about 2 different people, and also my wife's grandfather Arlie, who was actually in John J. Pershing Veterans Home, and so I talk about Arlie in his wheelchair. We brought him into the song. The song is about those heroes, and I remember how touched I was when I went to John J. Pershing Veterans Home for the first time, and I walked around the halls there pushing Arlie around, and you saw people who had dementia, had lost limbs, and you thought to yourself, all the way around the room, around John J. Pershing, when I was walking around and I'd see those people, you'd think, wow, what a story. I mean, even if they didn't know what was going on, that in there somewhere was this incredible story that was waiting to get out. And that's why I wrote the song, was trying to speak a story for those who've forgotten the story. As the words of the song says, the stories they could tell if they could just recall the story, because how they fought their way through hell and maybe felt a moment's glory. I wrote that with Charlie Sandage, a really good friend of mine, and he helped me get. I'd written the song, but I wasn't really happy with all the elements. And Charlie's a wordsmith and a half, and he's in his 70s, and he's just a great wordsmith. And we get together sometimes and craft out songs that are deep and meaningful to me, and he helped me get that one to life. And I'm telling you, it did. It brought full focus to my Uncle Pete, who fought in 3 wars, to Arlie, who was a veteran, and all of the people that were in the dining hall with him. And actually, the story in there's a thing where a man stands up and salutes a flag. That actually happened, and somebody just stood on unsteady legs. I mean, like it says in the song, and just snapped a salute to a flag in the dining hall. And it makes you tear up, because you go, these guys are all but forgotten by most Americans. And they're out there, people are out there, excuse the word, bitching and complaining about this world. And they don't even stop to think for a minute that there are people out there who gave far more than they'll ever give. And they just overlook them. It infuriates me. We were talking about it earlier. It's like, it really does. It infuriates me to think that somebody would overlook or disparage anybody who fought for your freedom. I don't get it.
Yeah, you said, when I was talking to you before, you were saying that the elderly guy was standing there. I believe you said he was like in his 80s or something.
Yeah.
It was kind of incoherent, and all of a sudden he noticed the flag or something, and he just stood up and
He just
saluted.
popped up. He just popped up and popped a salute, you know. And I mean, it makes you tear up when you see stuff like that. I also remember my Uncle Pete, the one that fought in 3 wars. Uncle Pete liked to drink a little bit. I don't mind telling you, he liked his toddies. But you know, after 3 wars, we all figured he had it coming to him. You know, he'd seen more death and war than any of us should ever see. And I remember he was at one of his comrades' funerals, and Uncle Pete could barely stand up. He was basically the shape of a question mark. You know, he was all. Our family has a lot of rheumatoid arthritis. He was all hunched over, and taps started, and that cane went down, and he snapped to attention. And you just feel this rush comes over your body when you know that these guys never forget. They never forget those days, and they never forget they never forget what America means to them. We're coming up on the 4th of July, and a lot of people they're busy fighting about politics, and they forget what America means to them. You know, I mean, America is I've traveled all over the world. I've played in Japan. I've played in Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands. I mean, you name it, all over the Caribbean, and there's no place like America. And I've been all over the place, so I can honestly say that. I'm not saying they're bad places. I'm just saying there's no place like America. And we forget that when we're busy fighting about who's going to be president or who's going to be this or that. We forget that this is the greatest country on the face of the earth, you know?
Yep.
And I personally, in my songs, I will always put something about America on, and something about God on each record, because I never intend to forget those 2 things that are guiding factors in my life, and have got me through a lot. You mentioned Carry On before we got online. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I'm probably stepping on you. I
No. You're answering my questions. Keep going.
Go right ahead.
Okay, cool, Tammy. Well, you mentioned Carry On. Here's another thing that I want to bring out. By looking at me, a lot of people would not know this, and I don't mind telling it because I've always told about the album Carry On was a getting well album. I was diagnosed with bipolar disease in a late age, and the song Carry On is kind of my get well song. It's talking about why I made it through all of this, and I'm still allowed to carry the torch of music. And those are things. I don't tell those things so someone will feel sorry for me, or because I'm definitely not crazy. I'm definitely but I definitely had this problem that I had to fight, and it was like an internal struggle that came about very late in life that all of a sudden I had to deal with, and that's another reason why making music in my 50s is so special to me, because I know what I fought through to make this happen, you know. And I want to basically be a light for people who have these problems that go, I can get past this and I can still do great things in my life. And
we had Linda Murphy, a lady just writing in, Linda Murphy. She says, great interview, great person to interview.
Yeah, Linda's a sweetheart. I love Linda. I know her. So there, you're getting new viewers. Yeah.
Yeah, you got several people writing in. One of the things that I saw, I'm a fan of comedies and stuff like that, but one of the things that I saw, one of the movies is Christmas Vacation. And the old
I love it. Oh, that's my favorite, buddy. I mean,
the old gal
every
comes
line
in
it.
Yeah, the old gal comes in and she sits down at the table and they ask her to say grace, and the first thing she does is snap at attention, and she's like, she starts doing the national anthem.
I pledge allegiance. Yeah, I pledge allegiance to the.
Yeah, and then everybody's like, they're all confused. But I've seen that myself at some of the veterans' homes and stuff. And is that the kind of stuff you were running into at the Pershing?
Yeah. It was just, everybody you run into was, a lot of them were confused and didn't really know where they were. But when you look at them, and then you go by their room and you see all their decorations up, and their medals and stuff their families put up, and you just know. You just know. You feel the energy of who they were, even if they can't demonstrate it themselves. Like that one guy demonstrated it, but a lot of them just pretty much, were, there was a lot of dementia in there, and a lot of Alzheimer's and probably shell shock and PTSD and everything else on the face of the earth. Because you think about what they went through. I mean, those guys in World War II, you talk about fought their way through hell. I mean, if you've ever watched D-Day, that ain't funny.
Oh yeah.
Watch watch the first 19 minutes of Saving Private Ryan, and like my uncle said, excuse my language, but he said that shit's real. I mean, that's real stuff right there. That happened. Yeah. And those boys were 16, 17, 18 years old. And they were there to take out a menacing monster, which also angers me when people bring up the Nazi word about anything. It's like, no, those people were Nazis. That doesn't exist anymore. And to minimize Nazis by bringing it up now about people because of their political views, I mean, the Nazis were horrid people. And I'm sorry, but that's a horse of a different color than what people are doing now. I'm on my soapbox, but yeah.
I've actually met people that had, and this is quite a few years ago, but people that had still had the stamp on their arm and their number that were actually in Dachau that were in line to be thrown in the oven or to be stripped of their skin and made a lampshade, and they were just little kids at the time. But they are, when you talk to people like that, and we've got a woman that's coming on from, I believe, Tel Aviv. She's over in that region. And she was talking about, when the governments came in and took over their gun rights, and you hear the same thing from the people that went through the Russian crisis and the Jewish crisis and stuff like that. And we also still have veterans, a few, not very many, but some that actually are still around that were fighting and stuff. I saw them on TV a couple of weeks ago. And then you've got some of the people over here on the left, they fight everything instead of trying to come together. I'm sorry, but when it has to do with our veterans, it shouldn't be. It should be bipartisanship all the way around.
Yeah, to politicize. I've watched our president now. And he's made it where they can get their health care from independent doctors and stuff. We're trying to do everything we can out there for our veterans. And I don't want to hear a political word about it. Making our veterans' lives better, it's what we should do. Anybody who puts aside a donkey or an elephant on that is a sick person. These people fought for our freedom, and they fought so these kids have the right to go out and sit and protest, and to use them as any kind of weapon in the political realm is a sickening thing. And I don't care if I make somebody mad. If I make somebody mad that don't listen to my music, that's fine. I just absolutely am appalled by that kind of action.
They need to listen to it though, because you know what the problem is that here we have a lot of these little snot-nosed brats and stuff that excuse me, I should have turned my phone off, but I didn't, because I have messages coming in off of YouTube and stuff like that. But you have a bunch of little snot-nosed brats that are out here, and they'll go and beat a veteran up. These little gang members and stuff. And you see it all the time, or they beat an elderly person up because they think it's cool. And it's really not.
I just saw online where a 93-year-old veteran, his bank account was taken over by a scammer and all of his money taken. 93 years old, a veteran. I mean, that's disgusting. That's inhuman. I can't even imagine the type of that kind of scummy, just rot-infested thing. I mean, veterans are very important to me, and I've written a couple of 3 different songs that really exemplify how I feel about veterans, and one of them it doesn't get heard much anymore. I'll have to send it to you. It's called "While They're Away," and I wrote it with a lady who was in her 80s, and her husband fought in the sky.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost you, Doug. There you are.
There he is.
Back. I'm sorry. No, yeah, we're back. Anyway, fought in the skies of World War II, and me and her wrote it together, and it's about taking care of the home front while they're away, and it's a really cool song. I was happy to write that with a lady named Gloria Counts, who's no longer with us, and she told the story masterfully to me, and I kind of put it together as a song. And sometime I'll have to get that to you, because that's another veteran song that I've written that I'm pretty proud of.
Yeah.
My uncle Pete really touched my heart. I'm going to tell you, Warren G. Edwards was one heck of a man. World War II, Korea, Vietnam. That's defending America, folks. That's a lot of there.
That's a man that loved his country.
You know.
Yep, it really is.
That's for sure.
Okay, where can people get your music and stuff?
Are you there?
Yeah,
We're
I
here.
think you froze up on us.
Can you hear us?
Yep,
Uh-oh.
I think we might have lost the call there for a second.
Uh-oh.
Where you at, Doug?
Might have been connection problems. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Chris, see if you can get him back online. Yeah, he's got some great songs, Tammy.
Yeah, he does.
You know, that John J. Pershing's Veterans Home.
Yeah.
When you listen to it, if anybody listens to it and it doesn't give them chills, running up down the back of their neck, there's something wrong with them.
I know. I've got another question I want to ask him before we let him go, too. We can get him back on.
We'll get him back on. There's a copy of Doug's new CD, Doug DeFore.
There he is.
All right, I'm back. I think something's came back together. I lost you guys for quite some time there.
Okay.
The magic of the internet, right?
Exactly.
The little gremlins float through and take us off our game. I'm sorry, gang.
That's okay. We're very familiar with gremlins.
We have them weekly.
Yes, we
every
do.
night.
I have one more question that I wanted to ask you, Doug, before we get finished with this interview.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to know in your own words, Doug, what does patriotism mean to you?
You know, I see an opportunity for patriotism pretty much every day. I think we all do. If we just look, the number one, never stopping, or never not stopping to honor the flag, to honor a veteran, to open a door for a veteran. You know, you can be patriotic in more ways than fighting. And there are those of us. I was born in peacetime. You know, my need to be at war was not there. I mean, in my era, in the 70s, we didn't have that going on, and we didn't have conscription. So I've spent a lot of time doing USO shows and doing those kind of things with the veterans and the fighting men and women in Okinawa that have been watching out for years for North Korea, and doing shows for them. And patriotism is giving back to what this great country is. You know, you look around you in every state, all you folks that are watching tonight, in every state, wherever you are, and you open the door and you see a bird fly or you see kids playing, and you realize that all of that is made possible because of America's veterans. If it wasn't for them, this would not be the country it is. I'm telling you, we 240 years, our Constitution, 240 some years, our Constitution has stood, and but it hasn't stood alone. There's been a lot of blood and a lot of lives shed to make sure that Constitution remained intact. And so to me, the 4th of July, I do cry, and I'll tell you when I cry. When I'm at the 4th of July fireworks and Ray Charles sings "America the Beautiful," man. Yeah. When I hear that, I'm telling you guys, there's nothing like hearing Ray Charles say "America." You know, I mean, there's nothing like it, and it makes my heart. Right now, I'm just getting goosebumps. You know, so that's what patriotism means to me is just taking the time out every day, a little bit of time. You know, I take a little time out every day. I'm not super over the top religious yet. You know, I go to church and stuff, but I take a little time out every morning and say thank you, God. And I take a little time out every day to just think about the veterans and think about freedom and think about why I'm still free. You know, if you just take a moment, it don't take a lot of time, guys. You know, I mean, it just takes a little time. And hopefully my songs will inspire somebody to, the patriotic ones I have will inspire somebody to take that minute or that second out and just go, yeah, those guys, that rocks. Thank you for doing that,
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, if nothing else, yeah, with these kids that are, and adults too, they a lot of them like Kaepernick and stuff. And I'm not going to be a dead horse here, but you've got these NFL players that get down on these. We had a show about it Friday night. It's called on my show, "What's Pissing Me Off," and these kids, they don't see these veterans in the homes. They don't see the coffins that are draped with the American flag. But they need to do like where you've been and go to some of these veterans' homes before they start shooting off at the mouth and kneeling down. I don't know how you feel about that. I'm pretty sure I know, but
I got the opportunity airplane within the last year or two to see a Gold Star family coming home, and they told us, they said everybody will remain seated. We have a Gold Star family on board, and it was the opportunity was to actually see people taken their breath taken away. Nobody talked, nobody misbehaved, and I could tell in the plane there were some people that were probably maybe a little left of me. I'm pretty far right, but they just stopped because when that coffin come off with the American flag, and the family's standing there, and they've been on the plane with us, and all of a sudden you hear somebody in the back start this. And the whole plane starts applauding. I'm crying now. It just, those are the things you just want to take Colin Kaepernick's head and just shove it in that picture and say, do you see this? Do you see this? This is America. We're not black, white, Asian. We're not, my niece is half African American. I'm not, this has nothing to do with that. We are Americans in the 21st century. And we need to start acting like we care about each other and we care about our veterans, and stop trying to find something to be all butthurt about, and get out there and support America. Right. That's what this is about, dude.
Yeah, because when that coffin's closed, there is no black or white. It's a brown box, and it's got a red, white, and blue flag on it. That's the soul of that country, and that should permeate through that coffin. That this is our blood. This is a purity of what they fought for. The stars represent our different states, our different unions, the whole thing. The 50 stars represent everybody, not just one person or California, which, by the way, maybe a earthquake let it fall off into the ocean and save everybody that's not idiots. But, the thing is when that coffin is closed, there's no black or white. It's a flag on top of it, and that flag is because of the freedom that they fought for, to give their lives, to come home in a stinking brown box when everybody else is sitting there kneeling down. They should take their little lazy asses over there and go look at it and see the families and what it does. And it doesn't matter. I've been there when I was a kid. We were on a military base, a military brat with my aunt and uncle in Hawaii. And my grandfather was in Pearl Harbor. And in his journal, he talks about how when the kamikazes and stuff were coming in and hitting the thing, and his best friend got burned up in the fuel depot. And he was talking about the different guys on there. And when I looked at the pictures, it wasn't just all white guys.
No.
There was African Americans. There was, I don't call them African Americans. They're Americans. They were black Americans. If there's no such thing to me as an African American, you're either American or you're not an American. There's no damn.
Well, that's what me. I have Indian. I'm an American. That's what I am. And I don't believe in hyphens. Hyphens divide us. Right. I'm with you. Yeah.
But these kids, and I'm sure you've seen it at the things. Now we're a little past time, but I don't care. We own the station, so it doesn't matter.
You can do what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Where can people get your music at?
Okay, this is very important, and I tell you what, you guys support independent music. Now I'm gonna bitch a little here, so get ready. All right, okay. Put it out there. But
bring it on.
I'm telling you, folks, listen to me. Listen to me. This is not just about me. Okay, this is about independent music. If you're tired, I hear so many people saying they're tired of being force-fed the garbage that Nashville and LA is kicking out, and New York. that they're wanting to call hits. And then they hear independent music like you guys play and they go, that's great. You know what? Find your favorite album. If it's mine, great, whatever, and go buy it at Amazon.com, iTunes, anywhere you want online. And I guess we're giving away 2 of my CDs tonight. Is that right?
Correct. We're going to be running a contest for a week.
Oh,
and
great.
that way it allows people to see and be able to hear your music more. You know, whenever anybody's going to get anything for free, they're always interested in what it is. So that's why we do that.
I'm glad they came to the interview tonight and heard, because I'm telling you, I'm one of millions of people who make music. And I happen to feel like my music has something special to say, and I hope that you go to it and see that my songs are about my life. My songs are about what I've been through. On the new CD, which just dropped at iTunes and Amazon and stuff a couple of days ago, it's called Dream Loud, and that's always been my motto: is dream loud, because in your 50s you got to dream pretty dang loud to put out a CD. I'm telling you. And so you know, I want people to go look at that. Carry on. These are CDs that you can find online. Doug Deforest, and DougDeforest.com is my website. I just heard that it's down. I've got to fix it, but well, you can go there and find out more about me, or go to my Facebook page, which is Doug Deforest Music, and find out more about, you know, me and the music that I'm doing, and my friends like Linda Murphy. People that, I mean, I've got a good following of folks that are true trusty friends. You know, I do a morning show every morning on Facebook, and we have a little over 500, 600 people come to that during the daytime. Yeah, and cool. It's just a morning show with coffee, and we say a little prayer for those who need it, and we uplift each other. And we don't badmouth America. We don't, you know, I'm like you. It's like, you know, we get on there and we talk talk about friends and neighbors. And a lot of those people are here tonight listening, I know, because they're very, very loyal. And I appreciate them so much. Doug Deforest, DougDeforest. That's the artist name. And the music is at all the great Google Play, iTunes, all those things.
Yeah, your music was playing.
So I hope people will.
Yeah, your music was playing before we came onto the air. We've been running your stuff pretty much all day, and you are in the top 10, moving up the list. And
but that's awesome at my age.
It's refreshing to hear. You know, you hear so many music, or what they call it music. I call it rap crap and stuff. But you hear about killing cops and, you know, all this stuff, and, you know, all the crap that goes on. It's refreshing to hear music about our veterans, that supports our veterans, because one of our biggest thing is our veterans. We've got a guy that's going to be on in the next week or so, and he's just started a new thing. It's called Mattress for Veterans, and his goal is to get every veteran that's here on our grounds a new mattress, because many of them have had to sleep on the ground and stuff. And, you know, when they come home, it'd be nice to give them a new mattress. And this guy's, he's already given away a couple thousand mattresses, but his goal is to get everybody a mattress before they go away in Arlington. And so thank you very much for letting us share your music and letting us be a part of your life and part of your music and stuff.
This wouldn't happen.
Uh-oh, I think we lost him again. Hello? Hey, Doug, did we lose you? We'll give him a couple seconds to see if he gets back on here.
That's just that glamping internet.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, Chris, see if you can get him back on for a couple minutes. But there's for you guys watching, there's his new CD. Oh, there you're back, I think.
Yeah. I want to thank y'all so much. By the way, the guy that's doing that, his name isn't Jim McInvale, is it?
I'm sorry?
The guy that's doing the mattresses? Is the guy that's doing the mattresses named Jim McInvale?
No, I believe it's Ron.
Okay.
He just started doing this out of Central Florida.
Well, you just tell Ron that if he ever needs any music to use in the background or whatever, mine's duty free, baby. You know, he can use it anytime he wants to. All right?
Tell him. All right. Well, thank you so much, Doug, for
have a blessed night. I'm gonna go back to glamping.
Have fun. Thanks so much.
You have fun. Thank you so much for letting us.
Take care. Thanks for listening to music. Bye bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
you have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Well, that
And
was
there's
Doug
the
Deforest.
CD.
There's his CD. You guys make sure you go and support him. I love his music, especially the fact that he does spend so much time on the veteran stuff, and he is a patriotic American. He believes in the flag, his country, God, his family, and that's what he supports.
Yep.
So, all right,
Awesome.
okay, we're going to move on here. We can kind
Time
of
for
went over a
us.
little bit, but like I said, I don't care on that part, and I know you don't care. I'm sure
No.
our listeners don't care because what a great guy.
Yeah,
Holy
he
crap.
is
I love his
awesome.
music.
Okay, it's time for us to do some ads. And
We
we're gonna.
popping up first.
All right, we're gonna start with O'Reilly's. And we've got O'Reilly's ad. And just like we did on Friday, they've got Bosch Pure Vision wiper blades, buy one, get one free. And they've got Purple Power Pumice hand cleaner. The 15-ounce size is $1.99 a piece. Go visit them at O'Reilly's, and they will match anybody's ad. As long as it's not an internet ad, guys, don't take them those. But go visit them at O'Reilly's and CJR. And the other gentleman's name was
Brian.
Brian. Go see them at O'Reilly's.
Got to say hi to Brian.
Yeah. Next is going to be Cars. Travis, you do that one?
Cars. Oh, man. I love these guys. Tracy and her husband over there, Josh, they do some great work. They do front end alignments. I mean, their prices, I don't think they really have to run sales ads because their prices are always so low. If they did any sales on them,
Yep.
especially with a new baby, they probably wouldn't be able to afford diapers or anything. I don't know how he does this stuff so cheap, but they do work on cars, everything from front end alignments. They'll rebuild the motor. But they do have a new baby. You guys get out. What it's about is supporting local businesses and like with their business. And that's what we need to get back to. You know, we're never going to build our country back to what it was supposed to be unless we start using more local businesses instead of taking your stuff to these big companies. Start sticking with some of these little people. You know, little people are what makes our country, of what founded our country. And these little mom and pop shops, you're not just a number to them. You know, you're actually somebody with a problem that they're willing to help out.
Exactly.
And if you gotta call them, they will call you back.
Okay. Next, we've got T-Mobile. And tonight with T-Mobile, and this is the T-Mobile at 2400 West International Speedway Boulevard. They are at the corner of West International Speedway and North Williamson.
That's in Daytona.
This is at this location only. If you mention that IITW radio sent you, you will get $50, and the T-Mobile will donate $50 directly to a local charity. Now this week, buy the new LG G7 Thin Q, and you will get $750 off of a second one. Also, if you buy a Samsung Galaxy S9, you get one free. Also, if you buy an Apple Watch, you get the second one $215 off with activation. You can also add a line on a paid Digits Apple Watch plan. For businesses, if you buy an LG Aristo 2 plus business customers can get $150 cash back on the LG phone shown in the ad. Businesses also get buy one Samsung, get $360 off of another. If your business customers can get a deal on two Galaxy S9 Plus, S8 Active, or notepads. Prepaid customers.
Notepad.
Yeah, exactly. Prepaid customers, if you get an A30, prepaid customers can also get a free tablet with $100 in services. This started on Friday, and you need to make sure that you call the store to get more details. This is also subject to activation fees and sales taxes.
That's where I got my notepad from.
Yep. Cool.
There.
All right. Next
What was her name? What was her name, Maria? Are you there? Our station manager, Maria. Marie?
Sarah.
It's Sarah.
Sarah. Okay. Not Sarah, Sarah.
Sarah.
Go in there and see her. What a sweetheart she is. I had problems with my one phone, and I took it in there, called her up, and she goes, "Get back down here. I'll swap it out." And every phone, not every product is going to be 100%. It could have got kicked around in shipping, but they fixed it, no problem. They made it right. So I'll do business any time like that. Whenever I have a thing in my office, you've seen it. It says whenever a customer calls up complaining, they're giving you a second chance to do business with them for life. So you guys go in there and see them. Sarah, make sure you wave to her.
Hi. Next is Bird Sales.
Mr. Bird. I love Mr. Bird. Mr. Bird is awesome. This guy comes out. They have storage sheds, storage buildings, gazebos, greenhouses. You want a quick greenhouse to grow whatever you want to grow in it, herbs, not that kind of herb, but herbs, spices, whatever you need. Call them up. They come out and they actually set the buildings up. Mr. Bird and his son do 99% of the work. You'll see him out there. He's involved with his businesses. He's right there in San Mateo, between the school and Dunn's Creek Bridge. Can't miss him. As soon as you look on the right-hand side, if you're coming from South Putman, or left if you're coming from North Putman. He's right there. We're going there and see him and tell him that IITW Radio sent you, or the Putman Way.
Okay. Now we have a new advertiser tonight, and their name is America's Air. Now, this company does air conditioning and heating and refrigeration and sales, service, and installation of all major brands. Financing is available for as low as $25 a month on new system installations. They serve all of North Florida. Now, this advertisement that we have up there in front of you guys, they have several specials across the bottom there. And if you take a look at this will be up on our page on the Putnam Way, so you can go there and take a look at this. Their number is 904-735-6299. They are Florida certified HVACR contract licensed, and they will come out and take care of all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call and take advantage of some of those specials they've got across the bottom there. $75 off of AC. That's not 70. It's a $75 special on a tune-up and inspection of a complete system. $100 off any repair. Free service call with a repair. There's quite a few specials there, so take advantage of that with America's Air.
Yeah, and these advertisers and stuff, they're not just people that advertise with us, they're people that we use as well. Birds, we've got a building off of him, cars, even Bob's over at Eastside Towing Collision. All these businesses that we put up, we actually use. As a matter of fact, they're going to come out and do my air conditioning as soon as I get back. I had an unfortunate incident with my air. I probably don't clean the filter as much as I should, although I try to clean it once a month. I've got 2 dogs, 2 cats that I never wanted, that will not leave me alone. And then besides the horses, when I brush the horses off and I come inside, you see my house, I keep my house clean, but you still get dust bunnies and stuff like that. And the ACs are not for everything. They need to be serviced. But, you guys, like I said, keep up with these local businesses and stuff. And even though they're not local, they're out of Jacksonville. They are local because they do service our area in Putman, North and South Putman. And I believe they even go down into Volusia County, all the way over to Ocala and Lakeland and all that. They're all over the place. But just get a hold of Jeremiah over there and they'll send one of the guys out.
Okay. Sounds good. All righty.
Wait, before we go on, Chris, wave. This is Chris, our IT guy. We like to give him credit every night. Chris is a trip, but he keeps us going. And our station manager, which we're not going to put her up there, Marie, she does kick butt job. And Cameron, we've got in the background somewhere. He does kick butt, and it takes a bunch of people as a team working to bring this to you guys. We are going to be doing another show. One of my friends, Greg Williams, so we got his thing. Let's just go ahead and get his out of the way while we're up here. I know it's not a sequence, but Greg is a buddy of mine. He's not only my attorney and our corporate attorney, he's also one of my friends, and he's going to be doing a talk show probably on Tuesday nights with me. So you guys will be able to call in, get advice from him. He's also very political. He's my other twin somehow, but Greg will do anything except for murder cases, and he won't kill he's not going to go murder anybody for you either. So if you have a mother-in-law, whether you're male or female, that you want to take it out, forget it. He's not going to do that. He does service. He will come down and help people out in Putnam County. And the guy's a great guy. It's not like a lot of other attorneys that if you don't have, all your money down at once, they're not going to represent you. Go someplace else. We don't care. The guy actually cares about what he does. He loves the Constitution. He wants to see people that's rights aren't violated and that he can help, get out of stuff, if you're innocent. But he's also, he knows the laws. Greg's been around forever. He has just because he has a building in downtown Jacksonville doesn't mean that he's not going to. He said he will come to South Putnam. He will come to Putnam, and he will. I talked to him today. Well, you and I did, Tammy, and he said, he's willing to help people out if they don't have the money. He wants to see justice served. So you guys make sure you give him a call and stuff. But Greg is going. We're probably going to announce it next week sometime. He's going to be on the air on Tuesday nights. I don't know for how long, but probably an hour and a half. Okay, moving on. Can you hear me, Tammy?
Yes, I can hear you. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I'm done. I'm done with Greg.
Okay.
And he's going to buy me lunch this coming week. He better. And I do not want any Dunkin' Donuts, Greg. Don't be cheap. Don't try to don't try to take me to a small hamburger joint. So.
Okay. What's next? Crazy America. What's next?
Yeah.
Crazy America.
Yeah, that's tonight's show out on the porch. It's crazy. Right. Crazy America. It should be called Crazy Ass America, but okay, go ahead. I'll shut up.
Okay, well, we were going to talk about the man who stabbed the 9 people at the toddler's birthday party. That was going to be the next thing.
Well, what a sick dirtbag this guy was.
Yes, he was.
So what happened?
Well, evidently he had been at this apartment complex the night before, and I guess he was acting badly. His behavior was bad, and they had asked him to leave, which he did quietly. And then he came back, I guess, a couple of nights later, when they were having a birthday party for a little 3-year-old, and he started stabbing people, including the 3-year-old whose birthday party it was. All in all, he stabbed 6 people.
What a sick bastard. From what I understand, they had been nice enough.
I'm sorry, he stabbed 9 people altogether. My mistake.
Yeah. From what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but he had been living there with somebody for a while, and they kind of got tired of him because he wasn't doing anything, and they told him to get out, and then he got out and then came back. And then the first person he stabbed was the little 3-year-old that was, it was her birthday party, and he stabbed hers and started slicing other kids up. And as soon as the parents tried to stop it, he started slicing them up. That right there is why the Second Amendment needs to stay in place. You got a guy with a knife. That wasn't a gun.
Nope.
That knife just didn't jump up off the table and go slice up little kids. What a bunch of sick bastards we have in the world. What makes you want to slice up little kids? That's mental illness.
Oh, absolutely.
But chances are the guy do some a little bit of time and some probation, and he'll be back out on the streets again to.
Oh, let's hope not, and not for 9 people, and for children.
Yeah.
I mean that's absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason why
Makes me
Why
sick
that
to my
should
freaking
be.
stomach.
I mean,
I just don't get people like that, especially little kids. And then to go after the parents. For what reason? Because he's a dirtbag? I'm probably going to take some heat about that. Every time we put a black person up, people get pissed off at us and calling us racist. Y'all racist. Trump sucks. Ding. It has nothing to do with color. That's a sick bastard. You're going to go and cut up little kids. I don't care if you're white, green, purple, yellow, but don't be calling us up and saying you put up a black guy and you're racist. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with mental illness and sick people that need help. All right, before I get on a rant, it's not Friday night, so I'm not allowed to do what's pissing me off from what you said. So go ahead.
I didn't say that. Anyway, the next thing is going to be the man who scouted the 4th of July parade for an attack. I believe you sent me over that story. You were the one that found that one.
Yeah, it wasn't on Fox, by the way, for anybody that's wanting to know. It wasn't on Fox or CNN. It hit right on the AP. We got it off the FBI report. So any of you Fox haters or CNN haters or whatever are calling us, unbiased. You get your news off of Fox or CNN.
Right.
Makes me want to stick my finger in my nose and flick a booger at people. You know it. See if it sticks to them.
Yeah, this was a really good one. This man had evidently been, well, he is male. Had been scouting for a place to. Evidently, he had been speaking to an FBI agent who he thought was an Al Qaeda contact, and had been scouting for places to plant a bomb for 4th of July to blow up a children's parade or something where it would have a large impact. And this had been going on for quite a while. They had evidently been watching him since 2015, I think the article said.
Yeah, it went back a ways. He had already threatened some people.
Right.
Then he got a hold of, he put some stuff up on his Facebook page, said that he was, had plans for terror attacks and stuff. And then he didn't want to carry it out himself, but he wanted to be the catalyst that brought everybody together. From what I understand after reading it on, I think it was Reuters and the AP.
It was actually on quite a number of different news stations, or news sources, I should say. He wanted to be the scout. He wanted to be the one that reported back the information. He didn't want to be the one that actually did it. But he talked on his Facebook page about how if they were to cut off someone's head and hands and have those delivered, how it would get the message across that they were serious and that they could put, what was it? Explosives.
Did we put up his picture?
I know we had it. There he is. How that they could put explosives on remote control cars and let children be the ones who would blow police cars up without even knowing what they were doing.
Not just children, though. Who were the children? In the report I read, he said he was wanting to find some children of veterans.
Oh, I didn't. The one I read didn't specifically say that. I just saw children.
The one I read said he wanted to find children of veterans to have them play with these little remote control cars and then run it up. And he wanted to have the kids be the ones that blew up the van, full of explosives and wipe out a 4th of July parade so he could get on and brag about, what he did or what he was involved in. I think they ought to shoot some bitch in the head. I know you have the 5th and 14th Amendment, your right to due process. But on something like that, where they've got that much evidence, I think, give him his day in court. After they're done, hang him. Somebody that would do something like that, strip their skin. I don't care what you do to them. Cut their pecker off. Or just, take their pecker and fillet it back, add salt to it, smash it with a hammer, hang them up to sun dry like they did the pirates. They do that to a couple of them, just torture the hell out of them. I mean, after they've had their right to due process and they've been found guilty, if they would start hanging these people up and just beating them with a cat of nine tails and stripping their skin off, pour alcohol back on them. I don't really, I don't live by violence, but when you're talking about blowing kids up in a parade.
Yeah, it was horrible.
What a sick bastard.
Absolutely horrible. Well, thank God the FBI got to him and arrested him and stopped anything that he would have possibly been able to do. So thank you to the FBI. They were able to get him out of the public.
Yeah, he was also going to show up.
Anything.
He was also going to show up in the city of brotherly love up in Philadelphia the next day and try to pull something there, correct?
I don't know. You must have, I don't know. That was something I didn't read that.
Yeah, that was on the AP.
Okay.
Actually, it was in the FBI report that I read. Again, not a Fox or a CNN thing. In the FBI's report, they said that he had planned to carry out another attack the following day in Philadelphia. And apparently, I don't know, they were going to have another parade or something, or I'm not sure what the thing was, but he had a number of targets listed that he would already pre-planned his attack. And that after that, the next day, he was just going to go create the same chaos and turmoil. What was it? Do you have the quote of what he said about if one could make millions or something? You know what? I got a freaking hair. And I said frigging. I don't even know where it comes from because I'm damn near bald. But it keeps tickling my nose every time I get to the microphone.
Sometimes you get caught on your glasses.
That was planted by the government to make me miserable during our show. It's conspiracy theory. Put hair on my mic.
Which quote were you wanting? I'm sorry.
Where he had said about one person doing damage to millions, how one person could basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, how one person could bring, a country to its knees, and how much destruction just one person could do. What a sick bastard! Though. Talking about cutting people's hands, and then he goes on to say, and of course I'm paraphrasing, but he goes on to say that if he cuts their hands and head off and sends it to people like the press or whoever, it'll get some attention.
Yeah, that I did see.
And if he could cut Trump's hands and head off, that would really get a lot of attention.
Yes, I did see that as well. He's a very sick man. Very sick man. So.
Okay, what do we got next? Because that just makes me sick to my stomach. That's for what's pissing me off night.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, the next one we have is going to be, we spoke about Maxine Waters the other day, and
I'm
easy
sorry.
Now. Don't
it just reminds me so
Mountain
much
Dew out. I know. Well, look at the picture I found, and you'll see that I was scouting, just like I did with Maxine Brown.
I love that caption. What year is this?
I know, right? Well, when you hear the story, you'll know why our station manager chose that quote. She had to cancel a couple of events. Evidently, she got a phone message that's from someone in the South. We don't know who it was, but the phone message that she got was a threat that they were going to shoot her and that they were going to lynch her if she came anywhere near the South. Now,
people are getting sick of it.
I know.
I
know.
She's
I understand.
The whole thing that really irks me about her is, number one, that she's a politician. Number two is that she's out telling people that, if they're government and they're in Trump's cabinet, to just get a group of people together and start taunting them. That's not right. Just because you have a belief, and that's coming from a politician. So what happens if just because some people don't like Jehovah's Witness, should we say, okay, all Jehovah's Witness, let's just go taunt them. When they start going down the street or they're on their bicycle or the Mormons or anybody else, let's just go get all of our friends together and taunt them while they're doing that.
Right.
You know, or if I believe one way, should I be out? You come up to me and start yelling that crap at me while I'm sitting down eating dinner with my kids. I don't know. I might just piss on somebody. They want to be in the news. Yeah, they'll be the first person to get pissed on by me.
Well, she went on record saying that if you're gonna shoot at me, you better shoot straight. In other words, get me the first time, because you're not going to get a second chance.
Why? She doesn't believe in the Second Amendment.
That's what I thought.
Well, you know, of course she doesn't believe in it, but she has her bodyguards.
Mm-hmm.
Which we're going to do a show on that probably on Friday night about Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, I'll give this quick story real quick for people that are asinine, like our governor, Rick Scott. My daughter's working at a restaurant. I'm not going to say where or anything else, but she has to go through a parking garage. She's 19 years old. She tells me the other night, Daddy, you know, it's just not right that I'm not able to protect myself, because even with pepper spray or stun gun, she has to have a concealed weapons permit. And she goes, that's not going to stop anybody. But our idiot governor, Rick Scott, yes, I called you an idiot if you're listening. Yes, you have done some good stuff. But when you, and I love Pamela Bundy to death. I think she's a great person for law enforcement. But when you can cut a person's right to protect themselves, my daughter's 19 years old. She's not a nut job, but there's nut jobs that could come after her. And when she has to walk through a parking garage, she's telling me about a guy that's been stalking her, and she can't even protect herself. Yeah, I didn't talk to you about that. I'll talk to you about that when we're off the air. But a guy's been stalking her and stuff, and she can't even protect herself. So basically what our great Sunshine State, with all their infinite wisdom on how to keep our kids safe, and this little David Hogg, now what's a good name I can come up with? I'm trying not to cuss tonight. That little prick. When they cut my daughter's constitutional rights and she can't protect herself, all them girls are talking about getting together and filing a lawsuit against the state of Florida. And I think they should. I think they ought to get a hold of Greg and just go ahead and do it. And they're talking about it right now. Because if something happens to them, their blood is on our state's hands,
Right.
on our governor's hands.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get off on that.
No, I think that is totally valid.
Yeah, we always run short on time, so.
I know. Anyway, so that's what's going on with old Maxine and where that's at. Sorry, I shouldn't have called her old Maxine, but anyway.
She is. She's been in politics for 37 years.
A little too long, anyway.
I got a kick out of her saying that stuff. She was saying there on the news the other day, not on Fox either. It was actually on CNN where I saw it. To me, one of the worst news programs out there.
Mm-hmm.
For all you CNN lovers, don't bother calling me up saying, y'all suck, because I don't care. You know, but she was on there saying all that crap, and then she wonders why people are threatening her. You know, but the thing with the border walls and all this stuff, she's been in office all this time. Why didn't she done something for it before now? You know, she waits till Trump gets in office and makes it look like it's him doing it. Now, I'm not taking up for Trump here. It was her party that signed in this crap. So now she's blaming it on Trump for something that she had part in establishing. Okay, I got to stop.
Exactly.
I got to quit doing that.
Okay, we are going to do some more ads here real quick, just to get these. April Iser, I'm going to let you talk about her real quick.
No, God, I love her to death. She's running for District 3, Putnam County. You guys need to go out and vote for her. I'm not saying that the other candidates, you know, are bad people or anything in her district, but this young lady has got it going on. She loves the county. She's a 7th generation Putnam County, or kind of however you say it. She's been in Putnam County for 7 generations, great-grandfather, grandfathers, all that. She grew up, born and lived here all of her life, and she wants to make the place better. She's got some great programs that she's talking about trying to incorporate and get set up and get started. And hopefully she gets an office and can make those changes, stuff that really needs to be done instead of worrying about, different things. By the way, I want to thank Bill Pickens for getting a hold of, even though it's not his district, but the fact that he called back a few days ago, and he's going to help a lady out or see if he can get help with her driveway. What's her name? I don't have it in front of me.
Hang on. Give me a second.
It doesn't matter what her name is. The problem is that there's an elderly couple. They haven't been able to get anywhere. Bill Pickens called up.
Teresa Bolton.
Yeah, Teresa Bolton.
And she did message back today, by the way. I didn't have a chance to tell you that she messaged me and
What was that?
It's storming here badly. That was thunder. Terry Turner did come out to her house today and took pictures, and he said he's going to work on getting that situation at her house worked on, getting it fixed.
Cool beans.
Yep. So there was some, work on that today.
Thank you, Bill Pickens, for doing that. I think he's in the South and he represents the South end. He doesn't represent District 3.
Yeah, he sent Terry out there.
The fact that he was willing to take it on, I think you'll have my vote, Bill.
Yep.
Bill's a good guy. He has a property at the end of Crescent City, and every time there's a festival or anything in the past, he's always been gracious enough to let people use that for parking.
Oh, that's
There's not really
nice.
any parking in Crescent City unless you park on the side of the road. But he's got I think about an acre there. I know it a whole lot of cars, but Bill's a good guy. I like Bill.
Cool. All right. The next one we've got is the stand. And we have talked about the stand before. They have two locations, one in Satsuma on 17 across from the Dollar General, and the other one in East Palatka across from 207 there at the Agriculture Center. And Matt and Luann, they have beautiful produce, and we want to make sure that everybody knows where they're at so you guys can go by and get some of that produce. I don't know if the specials are the same this week, but last week they had seedless watermelons for $3, corn on the cob for $1. So I don't know if those are the same specials, but you can give them a call or just go by there and take a look at what they've got, because you can't see what they've got when you call them on the phone. So
They always have kick butt produce, and the produce looks good.
Yeah, exactly. And we've put pictures of their produce up on the Putnam Way. You can go and take a look there, or you can go to their Facebook page, which is The Stand, and look at what they've got on there as well. And to go by and see Andrea or whoever's running whichever stand they're at, William, and go check them out and see what they've got. And if just go by and see and get your produce from them. The next one, Chris, you're up. Eastside Collision.
Eastside Collision and Towing, 24-hour towing available, 386-227-0003, specializing in towing, collision work, custom painting, and mechanical work, located at 286 Highway 17 South, East Palatka, Florida, 32131. Free estimates, call Bob Baldwin, the owner.
Amazing. Thank you. Next up.
I still like the monkey voice.
Yep.
And by the way, for the people that say the monkey voice, that's not a racist. It's a little monkey, a little tiny monkey's voice.
All right.
I don't want to be confused with Roseanne Barr or any comments, Somebody did write in and say that, by the way. That's racist that you would say a monkey voice. It's not racist. It's a monkey. It's a chimp.
Okay. Next up, we have another T-Mobile ad, and this is a special that they are running for the holiday for 4th of July, and this is their Veterans Special, and this is, I don't know if you guys have seen the special that they're running on TV. T-Mobile, they have a special plan called T-Mobile One Military, and that is 50% off on family lines for military and veterans. And if you give them a call, and they will give you the details. It is, as usual, these are all subject to activation fees and sales tax. And that is all we have for them right now. And we will go on to our next
I feel
segment.
bad, Tammy.
What?
Last week,
Why?
our little buddy Aiden,
Yes.
and I totally missed it. Our little buddy Aiden, I think it was 10 years old, something like that. He wrote in, and I totally missed it on YouTube. He was
We
like,
did.
yeah, he wants a shout out. So Aiden, I'm so sorry. We do have a section coming up with Aiden that we're going to be doing. It's called Out on the Beat with Aiden.
Yep.
But you guys are going to love this. And we're not going to put his picture up right now because some of the stuff that this little man's going to be doing will crack you guys up. I mean, and he is funny. I love this kid to death. I wish I could say more about it right now, but it would give it away. I'm not going to do that. Oh, we got to shout out to Mama Baldwin and Mama Sanchez, too. Along with Jimmy, Mr. Steve, Rachel, anybody else we got to shout out?
No, I think that's everybody.
Chris's mom.
Oh, yeah.
Chris's mom, yeah.
She gave us Chris.
Yeah, she did. I don't think she was trying to get rid of him either because she wants his butt home after the show.
That's right. That's right.
He's a good kid.
Yes,
Or I
he
say
is.
kid. He's a grown man, but
Yes, he is.
anybody in their 20s to me.
Yeah. I was just going to say, when you get to be our age and they're that age, they're kids, but they don't like to be called kids. They're people.
I'm an old
they're
fart.
grown people.
We're old farts. I'm an old fart to him. Probably going to come up with an old fart sound.
Uh-oh, no.
Okay, what do we got up next? Because we're starting to get run out of time.
I think that we need to talk about Brent's situation real quick here. We had a young man I had a young man contact me last night on the Facebook page. His name is Brent, and he was in a pretty serious accident yesterday morning. He was coming home from work. He had been working all night. He was very tired. He fell asleep at the wheel.
Wrong picture.
That's okay. But that we're going to talk about that too. That's all part of it.
Now I want to get his car up there so people can see what kind of damage happened. And it wasn't from texting either.
No, he was very tired from work. He had worked a long shift all night. He was very tired. He nodded off at the wheel, and he woke up as he was about to hit the guardrail on 17, just across from the Speedway in Satsuma. And it hit the passenger side, bent the frame, and totaled the car. But luckily, his injuries were minor. However, he was being yelled at. People were honking their horns at him to get out of the roadway. This is not appropriate, folks. He had just been in a bad accident, and he didn't have a phone to call anybody. His phone was demolished in the accident. He was hurt. Nobody knew how badly he was hurt or whether he was minor or major injuries. You don't honk at somebody who's just been in an accident to get their car out of the road. You don't cuss out your window at somebody who's been in an accident to get their car out of the roadway. What kind of neighbors are you to pass somebody who's just been injured in an accident and just say, get out of the roadway? Do you not stop and help somebody? Do you not help him get his car out of the roadway? Do you not check to see if he's been hurt or if he needs help? Or do you call 911 for him, to get an ambulance for him? Nobody stopped to help this kid.
We've had it happen. Several accidents. That's what this section is called, by the way, guys. Is what if this was you? That's why you see the things up there.
Yes.
What if it was you in that car? Would you want somebody to stop and help you? Imagine sitting there being hurt. I mean, granted, his injuries are minor. He still had injuries, but he's trying to get, people are cussing him out and yelling at him, get your damn car off the road. He just got in a wreck. I mean, this is not like this is some bum. I know this kid, young man, and he's helped us out at the haunted house before. He didn't even dress up. He helped with security. And every night he was out there. And he would help every night, making sure that people got to their cars safe, that nobody would attack them. Or, you know, if they came running out of the house, he was the first one to catch them when they were scared to death and running across the parking lot. But he's a young man that works. He works at a convenience store, and he works a night shift. You know, and he's only 19. He said he went to school with my daughter and my son, and he graduated from Crescent City High School. And this is a kid that's busting his butt, staying up all night so that you can get your coffee or your bread. I'm guilty of that, by the way, running into the store in the middle of the night. But he's there working. It's not some little bum, and he falls asleep at the wheel. You know, yeah, he should have been a little more awake. But, you know, the fact is he doesn't do any drugs, doesn't drink. He's just trying to make a living and do it. And he just had gotten a brand new motor put in that car. He saved up all his money and got a new motor put in it.
Not even 24 hours before the accident happened, he had just gotten the motor done in the car. And you know that this is something that is very upsetting to me. And Travis and I have talked about this. I served in a volunteer fire department here where I live. For 6 years, I served in the volunteer fire department before I injured my knees and wasn't able to do it anymore. And this is just exactly the type of thing that got me involved in the fire department to begin with. I was coming out of a restaurant one night with my family, and we were getting into the car, and it was on the side of a major highway. And an accident, a very, very bad accident, happened right in front of where we were parked. I have a medical background. My husband and I stopped what we were doing. We ran out into the highway. There were two little boys. It was a mother and two little boys, 5 and 7 years old. They were stuck in the car. They were literally wrapped up in the metal of the car. They were very badly injured. Long story short, they ended up closing the highway down in both directions, and they landed a helicopter in the middle of the highway where we were to rush these children to a children's hospital nearby to get them taken care of because they were very critically injured. I stayed with those little boys in the middle of that highway until the rescue could get them cut out and taken to the hospital. And that was the beginning of my experience as a volunteer at the fire department where I lived. Now, not everybody has to join the fire department because they help somebody on the side of the road. You don't even have to get that involved. But stop. If you don't do anything else but dial 911, the kid's phone was demolished. He couldn't even call anybody. Don't yell obscenities out the window at somebody. That's just wrong, folks. You're supposed to be neighbors. That's not how you do it.
Yeah, and just like with our next one coming up, as we're starting to get out of here on time, and I want to make sure we get this in. You know, what Tammy was just saying is so true. I want you guys to see what happens when you don't. Put up the other picture first of the wreck. There was a lady who got hit, T-boned, on 309 by a gentleman who's actually still in the hospital. And we don't know exactly what the circumstances with him were, if he fell asleep. We don't know very much about it. What I do know about it is the lady Heather had her best friend in the car with her, and her son was in the back seat. And she had to swerve. The guy was in pretty much in her lane. I'm not going to give all the details. Long story short, she got T-boned on the side to where it killed her best friend. And the last word she heard from him was, "Oh my God," or "Oh God." Her son was wrapped up in the back seat. That car is mangled. His mother, go ahead and put the picture up of little Dominic. Dominic is 3 years old. He was in the back seat, or 5 years old, I'm sorry. He's 5 years old and got wrapped up in the metal. Now, this was right down the street from me. I want you guys to look at this. The mother was standing there in a freaking street on a main highway screaming for people to help. Just help, just help. And nobody stopped for 10 minutes.
They drove around her. They drove around her.
They drove around her, yelling stuff, and she's screaming at them, begging them, my child's in the back seat. My child's in the back seat. Get him out. She doesn't know if he's alive or dead. Fortunately, he is alive. Messed up. When I got to the scene, the metal was wrapped around that kid like a freaking cannoli. And all you people that drove by there and just saw it, shame on you. You know, karma is a bitch. And I hope to God it doesn't happen, but if it does, then you got what you had coming to you, and you deserve it for not even stopping. The one lady who did stop, and I saw this when I got there, she finally stopped. She came along and she stopped. And like Tammy's saying, even if you can't do CPR or something, this lady held her hand and prayed with her.
That's right.
And told her, God's going to save your son.
If that's all you can do, do it.
I watched the EMS, the first responders that got there, and I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to, you know, I don't want to do that to her. But I watched her walk away from that car crying. And when they finally got little Dominic cut out, put that picture back up, Chris. I want people to see it. Not to exploit this little kid, but that's what happens. That little kid almost lost his life. Thank God that there was another one of our first responders that just happened along, and he came up on the scene, and he was there administering CPR and doing everything else. And we're going to have to get his permission to put him up because I want to go back on this on Friday night.
Yeah.
I want to get her in the studio next week, not Friday night, but I get her in the studio, and I want little Dominic to come in there. He's out of the hospital now. Mm-hmm. But because people didn't stop, that little kid almost, you know, he almost lost his life. If anything else, just to comfort, there are Good Samaritan laws. You're not going to get sued. You know, they changed the laws on that crap.
Exactly.
But not to do anything at all makes it just as wrong as if, to me, my own personal opinion, makes it just as bad to me as if you had been the one that hit and caused the scene.
Right.
You know, I remember when this lady's truck caught on fire at the high school because she'd been driving through the grass. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say her name. Everybody else, and this is not to give me a pat on the back. I don't want a pat. I don't need it. I got a back scratcher. I got Tammy that can pat me on the back, or Marie, or I don't think Chris will do it. But everybody ran from the car. It was on flames. You know, you remember that. I ran over straight over to it, grabbed the grass, and pulled it out from underneath. It doesn't make me a saint. It just makes me concerned with people. But don't just stand there and let that kind of crap go by. You never know. 1 second of your time to maybe get a door open, to get a kid out of the car, or to help that kid, Brent. Now, we're going to be doing a GoFundMe account for Brent. He's a good kid, good young man. We're going to be talking to him this coming week.
Real quick, I want to say this real fast. Brooke Edwards was killed earlier this week. They are looking for the person who hit him and left him to die in that ditch. I just want to give a shout out. If you know anything about it, please call the Florida Highway Patrol or the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. The numbers are on the Putnam Way page. And that is also where you can find us on Facebook or IITW Radio. Please go on there and take a look at that article and his picture if you know anything about who hit him.
Somebody knows something about it. It's a 54-year-old man. Also, there was another lady hit by a car out by the bowling alley by Lowe's off of 100. She was also lost her life. Or no, she's in critical condition.
She's in critical condition. Leah Tiger, yes.
Yeah. So you guys need to be careful. Crossing the roads, driving, whatever. Be alert, aware of your surroundings. What time we got, Chris? How much time we got left?
We have exactly 1 minute.
Okay. I want to thank you guys for letting us come into your home, your hearts, and share some of this stuff with you. You know, you can make the world a better place. I'm not going to say make America great. We can make the world a better place by getting involved. Get involved with your veterans. Just go up and talk to them. Get involved when you see an accident. Quit sitting on your lazy asses and being lazy. Get involved. But I want to thank you guys for letting us come into your hearts and your homes and spend a little bit of time with you this evening. We'll see you back here on Wednesday night. God willing, the creek don't rise and the government don't give me first. Tammy, close it out, girl.
Have a good
Bring it
night,
on home.
everybody. We love you, and be good to each other. Don't leave everybody stranded on the side of the road, folks.
And if you call in and leave an estranged message, I'm going to put it on.
Yeah, all right.
God bless America.